Good morning, this is John, host of Mgtow is Freedom, heading out to work today, and I caught some crap on a news program about fat chicks and how their mental health is more important than the fact that their physical health is shit, and through the socialized medical system, taxpayers are going to have to pay the bill. Because it's one way or the other, this woman's going down, right? Either her mental health sucks, and she's gonna freak out and probably go on SSRIs, antidepressants, or she's gonna freak out and eat a box of Twinkies with every breath. It is fucking beyond the pale for me to believe that those are our alternatives, right? We have no alternative in our country anymore. It's trying to be socialist. So that means we have to pay for everything. At the same time, women are saying, well, I'm going to be fucked up one way or another, so I get to choose and you're going to have to pay, right? So what do, right? If someone were to address a woman and say, look, you know, we've got a socialized system here. You don't get to just be a fucking pig. Actually, the person said it much, much nicer than that, right? You wanted this medical thing, you wanted it to be socialized, that is everyone telling everyone else what to do, how to think, and now we're doing it, and you're saying you don't like it. In fact, they turned around and shamed the guy who was talking, shamed the guy and called it care shaming. That's what these fat fucking bitches doing now. They say, well, you're just shaming me and using care as the excuse. Right? There's no way around these manipulative, sneaky little whores. And if a woman is saying, I want the state to take care of me, that's money, right? They're whores. They're selling themselves to the state into a socialized system saying the state owns me, but I want what I want out of it. They are whores. But there's a larger problem here that I'm seeing. That's that women shame men endlessly for anything and everything. Shame, guilt, right? Then they get triggered. They can trigger themselves. An incident can trigger them. A man can trigger them. And by trigger, I mean upset them. Cause them to lose their ability to feel good about themselves. Right? That's triggered. Right? The problem with this, with what I'm seeing, is no matter what, men, you're gonna lose. You can't win with these fat whores by being passive, right? You really can't change their minds either. But you can certainly make them pay a heavy price, and yes, pun intended, these heavy honeys can have a heavy price to pay. I really believe that if I'm gonna be labeled a jerk, if I'm going to be labeled an asshole, an uncaring man, right? I'm going to give him a fucking reason. There is one thing I can't stand, and that's to listen to someone meaning a feminist or some kind of social justice warrior, sit or speak or stand somewhere in my general vicinity and use a sweeping and broad generalization. And I don't care if they do it because they want to share an opinion, but when they do it, and they do it with the intent of extracting from others sympathy and attention. Because that's what this is about. They get sympathy, they get attention, and the goal is to turn it into money. That's right, money. Oh, I'm fat, I can't help it. Oh, well then go on a fucking diet, pig. Oh no, because I have mental problems, so then I need to eat. Either way, they're fucked up. And either way, you have to pay. Either way, we have to pay. And I've warned and I've talked about how women are going to go after men more and more as they lose their control over us directly. They will go after us using the government. Now, odds are you guys aren't surprised by this, right? It's not a brand new trick, but it is in historical terms a relatively modern phenomena. The idea that you are responsible for others and you have to pay for others Even if you don't have a relationship, no nexus personal exists. The nexus exists through the socialized political system. This is the danger. This is the cancer of socialism, that it brings everybody down to a mutually uncomfortable or a mutually painful, right, position of equality. Everyone is equally fucking miserable, right? I think Bill Clinton had this. The misery index. The fucking misery index. Where is the misery index now? See, women are miserable creatures. And once they were allowed to speak up, they share that misery with us. As if we fucking need it. Right? We don't have enough to do as men. We don't have enough on our plates. We compete with each other. Right? We compete with our jobs. We compete with nature. We bust our asses. We provide. Right? We are generous beyond compare. And then we're given a woman's misery, an earful of bullshit. You know, it has to stop. And how do we do it? One of the best ways I've ever had to shut the pie hole of whores is to go after them and verbally let them have it. That is, shame them. Either counter shame them or catch them in the middle of an attempt to seek out both attention and sympathy and nip it in the fucking bud. When you embarrass a fat pig, when you embarrass a social justice warrior, when you embarrass a gold-digging whore, they shut the fuck up. I have found that when you do that, when you preemptively strike, right, when you go after them, they have to shut up. They cannot face ridicule on the intellectual side. I'm not talking about just going insult comic on them and talking about how you know, their diet makes them look a certain way, and then pointing out something ridiculous in either their posture, their shape, or their clothes, right, to make them feel bad about themselves. I'm talking about just bringing up the fact that it's their fault and it's no one else's. And in some cases, you gotta go fucking all the way nitty gritty on them, right? And ask them where they got the fucking tent with the holes in it for arms. Sometimes you gotta do that. Now, what kills me is when you give these fat pigs the ultimate attention, the ultimate sympathy, and that is the platform of a protest or a conference where they get people who are pre-sympathetic to their cause to support them, and they feel bolstered by it. They feel empowered by it. They gain confidence that the position they have is right. And that is where men, Mgtow, need to start focusing. And I'm glad to see it on a lot of the channels. There's videos coming out, and we continue to point out what is going on, and that is that these people are not being told their position is wrong. Social justice warriors, feminists, fatties, anarchists, communists, all of the bad ones, they're not being told, literally told with their mouths, or with our mouths, that they're wrong. They're standing up and they're spouting bilge and bile, and then people are clapping.